I, 26M, have been working for my current employer, an advertising firm, for 4 years. It was my first job out of college and so far I have genuinely enjoyed working for them. A few weeks ago I was approached by a former colleague now working at a new firm, and was asked if I would like to join her new team. Initially I said no thanks, but after some persistence on her part one decided it couldn't hurt to interview. The first interview went really well and I was intrigued by the team they were building. I ended up going all the way through the process to the point where their internal HR rep made me an offer to come join. The first offer was for $70,000, about $10,000 more than I make now. Since I was happy with my current employer and only wanted to leave for a significant raise, I asked if they could come up to $75,000, to which the HR rep responded that it was unlikely he could get that much, but if I would agree on the spot to not accept a counter from my current employer, he would go back to the team and lobby them to bump it to $72,000. I was a bit caught off guard as this was the first time in my professional career I was negotiating leaving for a new company, but decided the raise was worth it and said okay. The rep called me back an hour later and said he was able to get me the extra $2,000. We then discussed turning in my 2 weeks and agreed on a target start date. Fast forward a few days and I go to my manager's office and tell her about the new job. She and I have had a great working relationship and I consider her a mentor. She said she was sad to see me go but understood. She asked if there was anything she could do to make me stay, to which I replied no and informed her of my agreement to not take a counter, which she respected. The following day I officially handed my notice to our HR manager, who also asked if I wanted to hear a counteroffer, to which I once again replied no thanks. It looked like the hard part was over but later that afternoon I got a message from my boss asking me to come to her office. Once I arrived there were 2 senior VPs already sitting down. After I walked in my boss told me that while they respected my decision they felt they had to at least attempt to make me stay. One of the VPs, who I had met a handful of times prior, spoke up and said that he believed I had a bright future ahead of me at the firm and offered me $75,000 and the assurance that I was on the short list to be promoted in the coming months. I understand to some this probably sounds like typical corporate BS, but his words felt very sincere and in my experience with this company they have always taken care of their people and delivered on promises. I told him I appreciated the offer, but had already agreed that I would not take a counter. However, he assured me that accepting a counter even after expressing that you wouldn't, is completely normal in this industry and that it happens quite often. He went on to say that while the other firm may be upset they